Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are doing the second recipe from the Cream Puff Murder. They are called the Chocolate Chip Mega Cookies. Okay, so for these, we are preheating the oven to 350, so we will be baking them right away. You're going to want 2 cups of white sugar, 1 cup softened butter, that's 2 sticks, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 beaten eggs, just whip them up in a glass with a fork, 1 teaspoon of molasses, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 cup chopped walnuts or any other nut you prefer. Nuts are optional. It does not as a, like they normally do under the recipe, as a second note where you add the nuts. It does say you have alternatives if your family doesn't like or can't eat the chopped nuts. You can use a cup of finely shredded coconut, or a cup of rolled oats, or a cup of crushed breakfast cereal, measure after crushing, or even a cup of chopped dried fruit like raisins or apricots. And then it goes back to say 2 cups of chocolate chips, a 12-ounce package, 2.5 cups flour, not sifted, pack it down in the cup when you measure it. It says you can mix these cookies by hand or use an electric mixer on low speed. It has the trick of the molasses, whatever you're measuring it in, spray it with Pam first. And then it's just mixing up the dough. Now, it does call for specialty pans. They look like this. I was actually lucky. My mom found these for me at a yard sale a couple years ago, and I haven't had a use for them yet, so yay. It does surprise me by saying they take 40. Yeah, it says about 40 minutes to cook these. So I was thrown off by that. I was expecting them to cook a lot faster than that. But it says to line them with aluminum foil with edges sticking up, so you can just pull it out and peel off the aluminum foil when they're done cooking. It says test for doneness by using a time-honored method devised by Hannah's Grandma Swenson. Press the back of a spoon down on the center of the cookie. If it sinks in and comes out gooey and squishy, the cookies need more baking. Try them again after 5 minutes. If it leaves only a slight indentation, your cookies are done. It says to remove the cookies, let them sit for 15 minutes in the pan, and then grasp the corners of the foil and lift them out. Peel off the back, and when they're thoroughly cool, carefully peel it off. Okay, so you want them to be completely cooled before you peel that foil off. Note. It says you can eat them plain or add the enjoyment of decorating them. Lisa uses a pastry bag to make little stars around the edges of her cookies, and then she personalizes them with a name written across the center. If you like me and you prefer not to use a pastry bag, you can buy little tubes of frosting in the grocery store and write a message and a name on the cookie of your choice of frosting color. So, it does not give you directions on that kind of frosting. I'm sure there's 100 of them throughout the books. Everything is all laid out. Let's get started. This is everything we need for the video today. All right, so once we have the sugar and the butter in the bowl together, we are going to let them mix. Currently, we also want to add in the vanilla extract. Next thing we want to add in is the molasses. And this is why I say it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Because even sprayed, it still moves slow as molasses. Next, we're adding the salt and the baking soda. We need to mix in the eggs. And the eggs actually should have gone in before the molasses and everything else. But apparently I missed them. My bad. Mixed in now. Looks like the eggs have mixed. Now we're adding the nuts or whatever you're using in place of them. But here's where it gets a little different. It wants to mix half of the chocolate chips and half of the flour. And then you're going to mix the rest of the chips and the rest of the flour. So I'm going to give this one final little stir. And I will say that this seems a lot gooier than I was expecting it to be. Now it says to let this sit for a couple of minutes while we prepare pans. Alright. Next part, you want to divide the dough halfway between both pans and then smoosh it with your hands. I hate smooshing things with my hands. There has to be a better way to do this. Alright, so I think the palms work better than the fingers, for sure, because the fingers just kind of dig in and get stuck. But none of it is particularly pleasant. And I will say the spray helped for sure until it wore off. Alright, there has to be a better way. These are not for neat people who don't like their hands dirty. Taken a moment to get them flattened in, but I managed it. They are now going to go in the oven for 45 minutes. So the first thing we need to do is to peel foil off the back. I whipped up some icing while they were cooling off. I'm just gonna go around the outside of the cookie. Fast. And there we have 2 mega cookies. Let's cut them up and see how they taste. This is a really big bite of cookie. Nice little glob of icing on top. That is so, so good. That is awesome. That is really, really good. It's got the nuts, so it's got good crunch. It's got the chocolate chips that are nice. And the overall flavor of the cookie itself is very, very good. It's got the vanilla. The molasses adds a lot of flavor and depth to this cookie as well. Overall, I think it's really, really good. You can cut it however you want it. You can have triangles, you can cut squares, bigger, smaller pieces. That's also really nice. Next week, we will be doing the minty melts with chocolate dip. So if you are interested in seeing that, join us next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye.